Hey, hey, hey! Long time no see, you digital beauties. A lot has changed since last time. Let me give this all a big play button there. A lot has changed, and this is starting to actually look like a bit of a game there. So let me just pull up the commits. Since last time I had a video here, it was quite a while ago, and as you can see, it's a little bit ugly, and there's about 35 commits that I've done since then, at least once a month. So it's been less than that. Yeah, it's probably every 2 weeks or something like that. Yeah, so let's just go over some of the main things that have changed since we last had this video. So first thing you might have noticed definitely is that there is more art than before. I'm not very good at art yet. I'm still practicing. A lot of this is done in either paint.net. Well, actually most of it's done in paint.net. Yeah, so I'm still getting used to that. That's fine. Hey, it's way better than the little capsule man I had before. You may have also noticed that we've got some little AI guys down here. Look at him, look at him, look at him doodling around. Look at him go. Oh, look at this guy up here. Look at him, he's carrying a missile. Where's he going? He's going to take that missile. He's going to open that door, because that's what you got to do. You got to open the doors. He's going to take that missile. He's going to thonk it into there, isn't he? And the missile's going to fire. Yes, that is exactly what I wanted. So this AI took me quite a few months of reading and rereading and watching and rewatching videos over and over again, and I've pretty much gone with the utility AI that Dave Mark has described. I watched his GDC videos a lot, and I kind of have, I guess, an implementation of his infinite axis system, which is a brilliant idea. And I'm using like XML files to determine to tell me which axes to use for which particular action, and that all goes in a thingy, and there's a whole thing. It's really cool, and I'll definitely have to do a video on it later, because it's quite big, even though I don't really have that many actions at the moment. Like the missile guy over here, he's got a reload missile, like I guess a reload missile primary, like a main action, a composite action is what I've been calling it. He's got a reload missile composite action, which involves like finding storage of missiles on the ship, which is this little shelf unit that I've put over here, and finding a path to the shelf unit, picking up a missile, finding a path back to the missile launcher that needs the missile, and then plonking the missile into the missile launcher. Then the missile launcher can shoot, because that's kind of controlled by the guy that's flying the ship up there. So yeah, that's pretty in-depth, and I'll definitely do a video on that at a later point. Another thing you probably have noticed, obviously, as that guy is firing missiles, is there are some weapons. Get that laser going. There's that laser man. Alright, yeah, the laser's on a turret, so it rotates and tries to fire at you. The missile weapon just shoots missiles. That's fine. And there's also a, I guess, kinetic impact kind of effect. So depending on the stats that your character has, which is another thing to go into, you may or may not get, your character or the AI may or may not get thrown off of any console that they're using when they get hit by a weapon that has a high enough, I think I'm calling it kinetic impact value for the time being. Yep, that just turned into the wrong kind of wall. That's fine. It's work in progress. Just ignore that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Remember there was a little ugly info panel with red text and stuff whenever we walked close to this panel in the previous video. Now, if we click on this, it will give us a little, guess a wee window down there. Let's see if I can make this bigger here, because it's quite tiny. How do I resize this boy? I think I have to pull this up and I have to pull this across. Yeah, that's a bit bigger. That's a bit nicer. Yeah, so you can see I've got some information on the console. It's got the description component in there. It's got the condition of the console, whether or not the console's powered, how much power it's using. Is it a captain chair, which means can somebody, like, I guess, fly the ship from there? That's the angle I'm kind of going for. How much CPU is being used, and the maximum and the mass of the object. So it's like a scanner. Here's the atmosphere generator, which is another thing to go into, because now you might have noticed my guy's got his helmet on. This guy doesn't have his helmet on, but he's going to come into this room, and this room's got lots of holes in it. There's no air in this room, so he needs to put his helmet on. He has done so. What a champion. So now characters also have stats. I've kind of been going for, let's say, health, which is a work in progress. It's going to have a lot more information, but right now there's an empty panel. Sleep, stress, sanity, nutrition, and oxygen. And oxygen's obviously the reason why you want to wear a helmet. So if they walk into a room and on a ship and they detect that there is not enough oxygen, they're going to put their helmet on. Right now the helmet is, I guess was just recently put in. I think I did it yesterday, and right now the helmets have unlimited oxygen, which is obviously a little bit silly. I'm planning to make it so that there will be a helmet item and like air tank items that the characters can carry, and then those will, when you put the helmet on, it's going to use up the air in the air tank, and once that gets low enough, it's going to give the AI an action. The AI, look at him, he's repairing that crack in the wall. That's brilliant. So there's going to be an action. I guess they will come. I'm thinking they're just going to come to the atmosphere generator. They can come here and refill their air tank. So yeah, then they can keep using their helmet. Otherwise, they're just going to suffocate inside their helmet, and that's kind of silly. And having an infinite source of air in their helmet is also completely silly. What else? Yeah, as you saw, that guy was repairing the hole in the wall. They can't repair these big holes just yet. I'm thinking of putting in a system where I guess they'll have some items in the storage unit, perhaps. Have some items in the storage unit, like metal sheets or something. They can take the metal sheets over and kind of put a makeshift patch on there to at least keep the atmosphere in and maybe protect against like a couple of hits. It's going to be pretty weak. It's going to be much weaker than a wall, but it will at least keep the atmosphere in, because without the atmosphere it is really hard. These guys will just go unconscious if there is not enough atmosphere. So yeah, I think that's the main stuff. Let's see. Oh yes, going back to the character, these are I think I'm going to settle on these for the statistics. I guess these are the skills, right? These are the skills. I'm going to have these go up kind of like Elder Scrolls style. So I'm thinking everyone will start off with 0 skill, and then as you use abilities that need the skills, then the skills will increase in level depending on the ability's difficulty or something like that. Something like leadership, that's going to be for like I guess benefits for the crew. It's mostly going to be the person who's using the console. The captain's console will affect the people using other consoles that are linked to the captain's console, so that the leadership will give you a bit of a buff to pretty much everything on the ship. Helm is for flying the ship. I guess extra speed, maybe acceleration, turning rate, that kind of thing. Communications, I'm not sure yet. I haven't really thought about that. Science and engineering, they're often used together. Like when he's repairing, it mostly uses the engineering skill, but also a little bit of science, a little bit of fitness. There's when there's a fire, there's a fire extinguishing skill, or fire extinguishing ability that uses mostly fitness, but a little bit engineering and science, because you got to know where to spray the thing, right? But it's mostly you're holding a heavy canister. Combat is going to be for the melee and weapon-based combat. Also, the ship combat, it's going to be like it's a mixture. When the guys are firing guns, which is coming way later, when they're actually firing guns or using melee weapons to fight other characters, it'll be a combination of the combat and fitness score. And while they're using the ship's weapons, it's more of a combat and engineering or science kind of mixture there. Crafting, that's going to be for making equipment, making better helmets, better guns, better equipment for your actual characters on the ship. I will have. There's definitely going to be some kind of. There's going to be equipment. I haven't really gotten that far ahead, but there's going to be. Let's see. In the more thingy, kind of. This is just kind of a dumping ground, so I can actually see stats as they pop up. So, like when the oxygen stat reduces, this is the main one that's actually going to be affected. It's the only one that actually does anything right now. When oxygen goes down, your mental handling and moving stats go down, and these affect all your abilities. So these are the main three. Right now, these are the main three, I guess. I'm not even sure what I called them. Let me see if I can find. What did I call those? I called those attributes. Yes, I called those attributes. Right. So these attributes describe basic faculties that your character has. Your mental prowess, your handling things with your hands, and moving. Might add more later in the future, I'm not sure yet. These are just kind of a proxy for other things that can affect them. So damage to your character, oxygen deprivation, nutritional deprivation, sleep deprivation, all that kind of stuff, more stress, more sanity. It's going to affect these core attributes, and these attributes affect these abilities over here. Yes, that makes sense. That's right. That's definitely what I'm doing. Yep, so these, could get my mouse going. These abilities are affected by these attributes. Right, yes. What else have I got? This is just a button for testing. I was using this to have a look how much oxygen is in each room. Okay, I've got I read up on NASA's information for how much oxygen does a person use per day, and I'm using roughly I think I'm using a 24-minute cycle. 24 minutes is 1 day, so then I can do one minute per hour is a day kind of thing. Makes it really easy to match up. So the oxygen consumption in these rooms is based on I guess real world values. And the atmosphere generator, as you can see, the O2 in this room is slowly going back up. It did have that crack in it before, and he repaired it, so there was a leak. Now the O2 concentration is going back up. I do need to change that air value right there, because that is the total kilograms of air in that room, like at the start, with ideal atmosphere. Same as this one is, obviously that has nothing in it. So that value is what is ideal for that room based on each of these tiles is 1 meter by 1 meter by 3 meters tall. So I guess it can fit tall people. It's a fairly accommodating spaceship. So that can fit, yeah. And I was using the atmosphere density or something, lots of reading. And yeah, so that's where we are right now. I'm working towards a little bit of an alpha, I guess a first alpha release. I need to get a little bit of a character creation. I have a little bit of a character creation, I guess a Unity scene set up, but I've kind of changed so much I need to redo that. And I'm thinking that the initial alpha will just be select a ship. I'll put in a few different ship designs, select a ship, select how many crew you want in that ship, and then I guess fight against other AI ships. And you could choose which ship they have, how many crew they have, randomize it, that kind of thing. Just kind of a little combat sim for now, and just to get people fiddling with it, see what bugs they can find, and yeah, get some valuable feedback. And yeah, so that about brings it to the end here. Thank you very much for coming, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.